Of the Journal of Business, and making her podcast debut is new reporter, relatively longtime staffer though, Virginia Thomas. Welcome, Virginia.
Thanks. I'm glad to be here.
So if you're in Virginia's position, or even my position, it's a wonderful time of the year because the Market Fact book is now done and out. So Virginia was our point person on this project this year, and came in to talk to us about it today. So before we get too far into the data, why don't you tell us a little bit about the Market Fact book itself?
Sure. So it's a compilation of data from a variety of sources on a variety of subjects that are of interest to people living in Spokane and in Kootenai County.
Sure.
We have some Kootenai County data.
Yeah.
It involves, some of it is pretty easy to find data, Census Bureau type stuff. Some of it needs a little bit more digging and occasionally some math, but...
Yeah, math.
Yeah.
So the goal historically of the Market Fact book has been to paint a pretty clear picture in terms of economics and demographics of the inland Northwest, really. So we've accomplished that again this year. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your process for putting that together?
So parts of it were kind of messy, but I would go back and look at previous Market Fact books and sort of, what does the data look like for that? Where have we gotten data from before?
Mm-hmm.
Usually those are pretty much the same.
Yeah, sure.
And numbers are often fairly similar from year to year.
Ideally, yeah.
But quite a few we noticed some changes trending upward in population and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So.
Well, let's dive into the data real quick. And it was kind of funny when at one point Virginia walked into my office and said, "I never knew I'd be so excited to get numbers about taxable retail sales," which are up, which is good. So looking at the data, we hit some decade highs, and a lot of the data we look at is in 10-year increments. And so can you tell us a little bit about some of that?
So in terms of employment, Spokane County saw 226,400 workers in 2017, which is up from 225,000 in 2008. So we've definitely seen a bump there. We've seen the unemployment rate go down just slightly. It's at 5.5%, it was at 5.6 in 2008.
And those are annual jobless rate figures, isn't that
yes,
right, for Spokane County?
Yeah, annual jobless rate. Yep.
Yeah.
We also saw Spokane County foreclosures go down, 464 in 2017 versus the previous low of 560. So Spokane County's looking pretty good these days.
Yeah, not bad in a lot of areas. I thought it was also interesting that some of the numbers from the airport, Spokane International Airport had more total cargo this year, or in 2017, than it had had the previous 10 years, and more passengers incoming and outgoing than it had had in the previous 10 years. So lots of activity. Were there any numbers that gave you pause or that you felt we should be concerned about?
A few things, yeah, actually. I find all of this statistical stuff interesting because you can get such a clear picture of what's really happening in Spokane. I noticed that of voting age adults, the largest group for Spokane is in the 60-plus range, but the second largest is at 20 to 24. So us millennials, we're coming for you, Spokane.
They're even on the back end of the millennial at this point, right?
I guess they're technically younger than
unnamed generation coming up.
So. Gen Z. Yeah. I also noticed, and I'm sure all of our readers did too, that last year, July and August, we got almost no rain to speak of, which was not good for our fire season, but it's good to keep an eye on.
Sure.
And then I wanted to talk about recycling rates because Deb Geiger over at the county had explained to me that the Department of Ecology no longer allows Waste Management to classify glass as something that they recycle because they use it for lining the landfills. So technically it's not recycled.
Sure.
So we saw rates go way down there.
Mm-hmm.
But you should still recycle your glass because it's still...
Probably not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Probably not a bad idea. So yeah, good stuff there. Really good stuff. When I look at the things that concerned me a little bit about it, one of them, and I think it's a little bit of a red herring, but we saw foreclosures begun increase in Kootenai County for the second year in a row, and it runs counter to all the other housing data that we see. Both on this side of the border and in Kootenai County in North Idaho. But it'll be an interesting thing to watch as we've hit a 10-year low. Are we going to see that number start to go up? And what does it mean for the housing market? Now, I mean, the average home price spiked again this year. The number of sales is increasing. Everything you hear suggests the housing market is thriving, but to see this one number kind of act as an outlier and all that is pretty interesting, and it'll be something to watch next year to see where that is trending. Let's see. So what else? You mentioned recycling. So we have data on environment, education, all that. Was there anything? Doing this project for the first time, was there anything in particular that was of interest to you?
Well, I mean, as a millennial coming into that age where I'm starting to think about housing prices,
Sure.
Keeping an eye on that was interesting and a little scary. Yeah, houses are selling like hotcakes around here, so...
Right.
We'll see if that slows down at all, but I'm guessing not. I think it's just going to keep increasing like crazy.
Yeah, for the foreseeable future. I was just glad to see editor was not on the fastest declining occupations.
Me too.
As you are.
No reporter. Okay.
Yeah. We're not on there this year, and we have been in the past.
Oh.
So, but bankruptcies down, home prices up, median incomes are up. So a lot of really good information in there. Anything else you wanted to talk about this time?
Nothing in particular.
All right.
Yeah, just Spokane. You're looking good.
Yeah, property crime's down.
Yeah.
Yeah. So looking good. Well, Virginia, thanks for coming in today. And Virginia is just assumed a reporter role with us, so she has a couple of stories in the newest paper. Anything you want to push there?
McKay Manufacturing, speaking of Spokane doing well,
Yeah.
they're doing just fine over there.
That was a great story.
Yeah, so it was really great to meet Katie McKay and walk around their manufacturing plant over there, so check that one out.
Yeah, great. Well, thanks a lot, Virginia. Appreciate it. We'll have you back again and again and again.
All
So,
right.
Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you soon.